Yesterday, I shared with you that my ketones literally crashed to the floor. They were at the lowest they had been since I started tracking consistently and trying to be in a consistent state of ketosis. They went to a 0.4 yesterday. 0.4, the lowest they have been since I started tracking in September 2025. Here's what's interesting. The day before yesterday, my ketones were at 1.4. And then they went from 1.4 to 0.4. Like, what's up, right? So I did some research. I looked into it and lo and behold, you're not going to believe this, but I woke up this morning and my ketones, drumroll please, shot up like a hockey stick to 2.1. That's right. I went from 0.4 yesterday to 2.1 today. And I think I know exactly what I was doing wrong and what the problem was. And the problem was protein, or too much protein. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So first things first, let me show you these are my numbers. This is my little keto mojo, my mojo. And you can see, let me start back here. So this is March 3rd. Today is March 5th. So this is March 3rd. I woke up 5:30 in the morning. My ketones were at 1.4, which I got to tell you, I'm super psyched about. I love a 1.4. I'll take a solid 1.4 any day. The very next morning, 0.4. I go from a 1.4 to a 0.4. How did that happen? What happened? But then look at this hockey stick. This is this morning, 2.1. And you know what? Just for good context, let's also look at my glucose. On March 3rd, my glucose was 98. And I had 1.4 ketones. Then on March 4th, my glucose shot up to 109. Now there's a correlation here. That 109 is in direct correlation with my lowest ketones of 0.4. So very high. And you can see if you look across here with this glucose, 109 is high for me. I mean, I haven't had too low of glucose, but usually below 100, as you can see. So 109, it shot up and my ketone shot down. That was my first indicator. What? Wait a minute. Did I have sugar or potatoes or bread or potato chips or pizza? No. So what could possibly have been the problem? And then I think I figured it out. I made an adjustment, and then look at this. My glucose this morning dropped from 109 yesterday to 92, and from a 0.4 to a 2.1. Now this is what I want to show you. I use MyFitnessPal to track my food and my macros. And by the way, I know that everybody says if you're on keto or carnivore, you don't have to track your numbers. With peace and love, God bless you. If you don't have to keep track, I have to keep track. And I have to know everything. Otherwise, I overdo stuff. And this is my case in point. So this is March, what day is this? March 3rd. This is Tuesday, March 3rd. And I only eat dinner. And I had intended on having spicy sausage. We did have some leftover pastrami, which, can we talk about pastrami prices right now? Pastrami is delicious, but you have to have like 5 jobs in order to afford it. I had MCT8 oil. This is MCT8 specifically. I did have a little sauerkraut with my sausage, and my wife made chicken legs. And goodness gracious, do I love a chicken leg. So although I had kind of pre-tracked because I knew I was having the sausage, I knew I was going to have the MCT oil, the pastrami kind of came into my life randomly. Who can afford it? And so did the sauerkraut. But the chicken legs also, I wasn't planning on having chicken legs. My wife decided to make them last minute. And so I was just eating chicken. I'm like, oh, let me have a chicken leg. I'm going to have another one. Oh, I'm going to have one more chicken leg. And then when I looked at my numbers, I started to track. Now I'm tracking in real time. I didn't pre-track. I was just tracking as I was eating. I noticed my, let me see if I can highlight this. Yeah, there you go. I noticed my protein numbers were going to, that's 132 grams of protein. And I was like, uh-oh, because at 132 grams of protein, it set off my numbers so that I was around 60% fat and 40% protein, or 35% protein. And my goal is to always be at least 75% fat, 25% protein. And so I decided to add heavy cream. As you can see, I added heavy cream to make up the fat content because I was like, as long as I can reach my macros of having 75% fat, 25% protein, I'll be fine. So I added heavy cream, which was a delicious addition, by the way. Added heavy cream, went to bed, woke up, checked my numbers, devastated, 0.4. I went from a 1.4 to a 0.4. What the heck happened? So as I shared yesterday, as I was looking at it, I was like, I wonder if the problem was that I went so far over 100 in 132 grams of protein. And this is something that I am right now still wrestling with because literally all my adult life, I have been told that you need to have 1 gram of protein to 1 gram of or 1 pound of ideal body weight. And that's 6 foot tall. My ideal body weight is at least like 170, 160 or something. That's 160 grams of protein. So how could I be having a problem with 132 grams of protein? I don't know, right? But what I've been kind of discovering is that there's a threshold that I understand. There's a threshold that your body can only utilize so much protein. And then after it reaches that threshold, it turns that excessive protein into glucose. Okay, well then my job, perhaps your job if you're interested in this, is to figure out how much protein to the gram does my body need so that it utilizes the right amount. I want a Goldilocks this thing. I don't want to have too much protein and I don't want to have not enough protein. I'm trying to find that fine line. So if 132 grams of protein is too much, and the day before, if I go back to my diary the day before, I was at 85 grams of protein. 85 grams of protein is what I had on Monday. Tuesday morning, I wake up, ketones 1.4, Ralph is happy. Tuesday, I have 135 grams or 131 grams of protein. Wednesday morning, my ketones dropped to 0.4. Ralph's unhappy. The only thing that is different in my life, not the time of day I ate, not the time of day I checked my blood, but really not even the amount of calories that I had, but the amount of protein was the biggest differentiator. And by like 50 grams, I went from 81 or 85 grams of protein to 131, 135 grams of protein. That's a huge shift. And my numbers, it looks like to me, totally tells the story, Ralph, you had too much protein. So yesterday, I was like, okay. I also got to say this too. I was watching Dr. Boz on Tuesday night show, and she goes live every Tuesday night. Make sure you're tuning into Dr. Boz on YouTube, Tuesday night live, 4 p.m. East Coast time. It's my public service announcement. You must be watching Dr. Boz. She's got all the answers, I'm telling you. Everything I'm telling you, I'm learning from Dr. Boz. So she had made a comment that a lot of people struggle with being a keto diet because they try to do keto passively. And I feel like she was just saying, hey, Ralph, the reason you had a problem on Tuesday is because you were tracking in real time and you were doing keto passively instead of proactively, meaning I should have been pre-tracking before I ate. So, okay. So Wednesday morning, I get the note, okay, 0.4. Okay, Dr. Boz, I see. You're right. I need to pre-track. So this is me pre-tracking dinner. I pre-tracked dinner on yesterday afternoon, way before I eat. And I'm looking to make sure that I am, you see that number 82, that I am keeping my protein below 100. 80 grams of protein, fine. Let's see what that does. So you can see the food that I decided to eat. I still had heavy cream. Actually, I put the heavy cream in my eggs. So I put a tablespoon, this is how I did it. I put a tablespoon, this, by the way, delicious. I put a tablespoon of butter in a pan, melted it. I whipped up 6 egg yolks. I used to throw away the egg yolks and only eat the egg whites. Now I'm throwing away the egg whites and only eating the egg yolks. I mean, where am I? I had 6 egg yolks. I added 4 tablespoons of heavy cream and I added 1 egg. Whipped that up with some butter in the pan. Delicious. I had a 10-ounce ribeye with a tablespoon of butter on that ribeye. And I have been taking MCT8. MCT8 specifically. I'll show it to you in another video. Actually, I'll show you all the fat that I've been using. But MCT8 is what I've been using the most lately. And so, and I find MCT8, when I first tried it, by the way, just a little warning, I did have some stomach issues. I did have to kind of work my way into up to 4 tablespoons of MCT8. And I'm just drinking it. I'm not adding it to food. I'm drinking it with food, but I'm literally just taking a shot, a quarter cup of, or 4 tablespoons of MCT8. I got it on Amazon. Again, I'll show it to you. So this is literally what I did different yesterday. I pre-tracked. I made sure that my protein was under 100 and ended up being at 82. And I kept my fat ratio. I actually increased my fat ratio to 80% fat, 20% protein. I don't think I had any. Did I have any carbs? All right, it says 4 grams of carbs, and it's from the egg yolks. The egg yolks do have a little bit of carbs. And based on this, I went from my lowest numbers ever, a 0.4 to 2.1. 2.1 is not my highest number. So you can see back here on February 18th, my ketones were at 3.0. I've had higher numbers than that as well. It's 3.0 as well. I'm just saying, I've been up to like the 3.5 range in ketosis, which is amazing. But as long as you're above 0.5, you're in a state of ketosis. So you don't have to have crazy numbers. I'm not looking for crazy numbers. I'm looking for consistency. I'm looking to hack my health. I think that's actually a conference called Hack My Health. I think Dr. Boz speaks at Hack My Health. I think that's how I even know that. But this is me hacking my health. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, well, let me show you tomorrow. Let me show you tomorrow today. I've already pre-tracked. My wife and I are going to have cheeseburgers tonight with chicken wings. We're making them ourselves. So again, I'm going to have eggs. Instead of 6 egg yolks, however, I'm going to do 4 egg yolks because I'm going to have a 6-ounce hamburger. So, or 2 3-ounce hamburgers. I'm going to make a double with a piece of cheese in the middle of it. So I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of heavy cream to 3 egg yolks and 1 large egg. I'm going to cook it in 1 tablespoon of butter. I am still, again, going to have 4 tablespoons of MCT oil. I am going to have 1 slice of this Chipotle cheddar cheese, which, by the way, has 0 carbs, which is why I love it. I'm going to have 4 chicken wings that I'm going to cook in the air fryer. And that's going to give me, where's my phone? Let me show you exactly what the ratio is. The exact ratio for today is going to be 82% fat, 17% protein, and 1% carbohydrates from the egg yolks. So now I love being 80-20. That's a really good 75-25 is great. 80-20 is probably a little better. My main point is look at that protein number. 82. Yesterday it was 81. Today it's going to be 82. Tune in tomorrow. We'll see what my ketones do. I'm thinking my ketones are either going to stay really close to where they are, and I think my glucose is going to drop. I think I'm going to be able to correct some of that glucose spike even further tomorrow morning based on this diet. We'll see. I think I'm onto something. Stay tuned.